Opportunities for the youth are hard to come by nowadays, with some losing hope of ever finding a job. To make it worse, those living on government grants can't make ends meet in the face of escalating food prices. But what can young people do to escape the poverty trap? Let's bring in Clara Sithole now from Youth Capital. Youth Capital, I understand. They're an advocacy group that trying to assist young people. Clara, good afternoon. It's tough days. I mean, it's really, I've used that expression a couple of times today, even yesterday. I don't know how else to express it. But if you're a young South African and you are in the ranks of the unemployed, as we saw the figures yesterday, numbers getting bigger and bigger, it's really, really tough.
Yeah. Good day, everyone. Yes, Mr. Moyane, it's very tough being a young South African in this country with unemployment skyrocketing. And it's funny because the stats say one thing, but as young people who stay in communities, we say something different. So we don't really understand what is what. What
do you mean? Are you saying you are hearing the numbers that are being given by Stats SA, but your reality is different? Are you saying that there should be more people being reported as unemployed? Young people, I mean.
Young people already unemployed. What's happening in our communities is young people unemployed are given opportunities that only last them for 6 months or a year. We need jobs that are going to sustain young people, jobs that young people will stay in for long term. We need young people to be prioritized in our government institutions, and we need young people to be taken into consideration that a lot of young people, we don't want short-term opportunities. We want opportunities that can actually sustain us, opportunities that are going to last for us to be in workplaces.
Now, today is the 1st of June. It's the beginning of what in South Africa normally would commemorate as Youth Month. And meaningfully, we look at the protests in terms of education. Do you think the country needs to shift its focus around Youth Month from education, or add the issues that you've just raised, that we need to think of young people and how we can make them economically productive?
Yes, the country needs to think of that. We can't have in June. Young people have to be celebrated on a daily basis, and experiences of young people need to be documented so that the very same young people who are affected by these problems are the very same young people who come up with solutions in our country. We need the government to put young people forward to document experiences that young people have. That way they can actually know as to what is really happening with the young person in the country. What are the solutions that we have regarding to unemployment, and how best can we move forward? Because if you want solutions regarding anything that affects young people, you need to go back to the young people.
Yeah, I mean, the stats are showing us, the latest stats, that 3.8 million of young people between the ages of 15 and 24 are not in employment, not in education, not in training. But this country has a shortage of skills. How do you think those young people can be assisted? What's your view, Clara?
It goes back to what I said, Mr. We need to prioritize young people. Don't just put it on paper and say you are prioritizing young people. It might actually happen that young people are on the front. They are leading and they are prioritized. You talk to young people about experiences, because what happens is we get a lot of government officials, organizations, or institutions who come and say, this is for people. But when you go back to workplaces, you find people who are way over 35 employed. What is it that is happening in our workforces or workspaces that young people are not employed? We need skills, and we need programs that will actually empower us to get those skills. But you find that in a lot of townships, in my township as well, you find that programs are initiated, but they don't go anywhere. 3-4 months down the line, the program is no longer there, which means there will be a shortage of skills. There will be a lot of young people. Now the number is augmenting to the number, what the number was initially was, and young people are not getting skilled. So we don't want that in paper. We want that to happen so that when we say young people are given skills, young people must be given skills. It should not be on paper. It should not be for PR. It should happen for young people to get skills, not just for paper.
Okay, thank you very much, Clara Sithole. Had a bit of a connection problem there, but we get your views loud and clear. That's Clara Sithole from Youth Capital and Advocacy Group. They're advocating give young people real skills for long-term, sustainable involvement in the economy of the country, not these short-term 3, 4, 5, 6 months programs. And we'll continue to explore some of these ways where we can really empower young people in the country. I mean, we have a huge challenge. People are calling it a time bomb that this country has been sitting on. I mean, you've got 3.8 million young South Africans aged between 15 and 24 today who are not in education, not in employment, not in training. That's a disaster really waiting to happen. So not something new, something different has to be done.